Hello and welcome to this edition of Inside Fort Worth Business. I'm Chris Quinn and we're in the home of Danny Wright, just west of downtown Fort Worth. Inside Fort Worth Business is Fort Worth's only video magazine about cultivating the faces and personalities of Fort Worth and cultivating business. I'm your host, Chris Quinn. You know, we're all about reinventing ourselves and the brands of Fort Worth. And we are lucky to have one of our favorite personalities of Fort Worth today, Danny Wright, who's agreed to let us come into our home and tell us how he's reinvented himself. Because, you know, today it's more than just about making music. It's also about building your brand. So, Danny, thanks for letting us come in today.
How's everything going? Very good, thank you.
Danny's got a new album called It's All Right.
It's all right, WRGHT.
How's everything going with that?
It's going all right.
Good. So when you talk about, thank you. When you talk about making music and the business of creating an album, what's that all about?
Oh, it's changed so much. I started recording in 1984, and there was record stores on every street corner. You can imagine, Tower, Musicland, Blockbuster, you know, every chain in the world was out there selling my stuff. Had like 28 different distribution companies all over the world. I was selling 60, 70,000 units every 4 weeks, every month. So it's been really, really kind of difficult, you know, now that there's nothing left, no retail at all, no what they call brick and mortar places to sell music anymore. So I had to totally reinvent myself and do some more popular kind of like this new album. I think it's doing so well because it's got Adele, it's got the music from La La Land. So it's got some current stuff as well as a lot of my originals, which people love.
So when you talk about it, it's no longer just about making an album, it's about promoting it.
It's about promoting it.
How do you promote it?
Well, thank goodness I have I have a great team, I really do. I have a great publicist. I have a company out in LA called Dashgo.com.
Okay.
And they stream all of my albums on like 158 different streaming live internet music sites like Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, all of them. So they do that in for me. Then I have another distribution company that does all of my Amazon, because people still want to buy CDs still, especially the older demographic.
Right.
They don't know how to do iTunes and Spotify and all that.
Right.
They want to actually hold a CD, open it up, look at the liner notes, look at the photos, the pictures, and get to know the artist a little bit. It's become such a cold world right now where you can just go on iTunes and you see a little cover about that big and you click it, and yes, you can have music instantly, but you can't read about the artist and look at the pictures of them recording and all of that, which people still love to do.
Sure.
They want to feel like they know the artist.
Right.
And now it's just clicking on a little thing and getting their music, and that's it.
So how do you use social media to help promote your brand?
Well, thank goodness my company in LA helps with all of that. So
Okay.
they help me with all of the Facebook, tweeting, Instagram, all the different avenues of social media now. And I have a great personal assistant who's young, who understands all of that.
Okay.
Because me being the age I'm in, I was not raised with all this social media that we have now, as you understand.
Right.
When we were growing up, of course, there weren't even computers when I was growing up, so it's changed so much. And you have to keep up with the times. If you don't, you get left behind.
Okay, so let's talk about how you generate income. Through creating albums,
Yes.
through doing
Concerts.
concerts,
Yeah.
benefits.
Well, I don't really make money from benefits.
Okay.
But the charity does.
Okay.
That's the most important thing.
Okay.
But it does get you out there.
Okay.
Where people see you, they can come hear you perform, and the money's going towards a great cause.
Okay.
I'm doing a really big thing. Okay, we can segue into this.
Okay, and I want to talk about some of that in our YouTube hour. So.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So the things you're promoting, because I don't want to date anything.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay.
And then all through commission pieces, right?
Yes, people commission me to write songs for like anniversaries. I presented one last night to a couple that have been married for 31 years.
Okay.
Birthdays, Christmas, all of that. And they commission me to write an original song. They write a paragraph about the person, send me a picture. I do the CD cover, the paragraph goes inside. I do these beautiful CDs, and I do a DVD presentation of me talking about it and performing.
Okay.
And it all comes in a beautiful box, and they give it to their loved ones for special occasions in their life.
That's great.
It's really beautiful. Thank you.
So Danny's done a great job of continuing to kind of reinvent his brand, get out there and reinvent himself,
Yes.
constantly change his brand, figure out what he wants to do. He's going to be later this year on our influencer series where we kind of look at his life, look at his music. This is his 55th
55th album.
album. That's crazy. That's
I know,
great.
it's crazy.
We're thrilled he's back in Fort Worth and kind of let us go in. He's
I am
been a great friend to us to kind of let us come in and kind of talk to us. Learned a lot about him. You can follow him. He does a great job with his social media. He's very active on Facebook. Is that probably your main channel?
Probably.
Yeah.
Just because my demographic is just a little bit older, and they are, some of them are just now discovering Facebook, but
Right.
But so that's what that's where they go to, or my new website, which is DannyWrightPiano.com. It's
Okay.
brand new, just went live last week. So
Great. And this is your first Grammy.
nomination
Fantastic. Good.
in a 30-year career, but I think God thought it was time.
Good.
I moved back home to Fort Worth and getting nominated for a Grammy. So.
And then we're going to come back towards the end of the show, and he's going to play his most revenue-generated song ever.
And it's a song I wrote, so all of y'all can guess which one it is.
That's great. So, how do you get your news?
How do I get my news?
Yeah, Star Telegram,
Star Telegram, of course.
Fort Worth Business Press.
Yes.
Great.
In fact, they did a big article about me recently. Yeah.
Good.
Fort Worth Today.
Well, absolutely, Fort Worth Today, Inside Fort Worth Business.
That's right.
Good.
I do.
Good.
And Facebook still.
Facebook,
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so-
Meltdown Monday. That's one of our series that we do
Oh,
with
yes.
Marianne Dufresne. I hope
Oh,
you
yes.
watch that.
Okay, yes.
That's great. Good.
Yeah,
Good,
absolutely.
Good deal. Well, thanks
Thank
for being
you.
with us.
Thank you, Chris.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good. I'm going to
Thank
take
you.
us over here. Great. Hope everyone had a great week. I know I did. But that's good. It's one of the things of talking about how do we get our news and where do we get it? I think that's so important about where do we get it and how do we get it? Because I think with information today, we can hashtag. I was at Content. This week I was at Content Marketing World. I was at the panel discussions. I was at the luncheons. I was there kind of checking it all out, kind of getting all that information and how do we get our information and how do we utilize that information. This week we had Chris Yates on, who I just talked about, who was Social Media Marketer of the Year, who also has an Emmy award-winning producer who did a great job. So check him out with a brand called You. He did a great job. I learned so much from him, kind of taking that all in and how we do reinvent ourselves and how that all comes together for us. So my next guest is a friend of mine for over, I don't want to date myself, but 30 years, and she's a real mover and shaker, and I think she does a great job of someone that's involved with the community and talks about how giving back to the community is a benefit from being a volunteer, gives back to shows how it benefits her company. And she's also a woman in construction. We worked in the same building together almost 30 years ago. And Susan Graw is with us today. Susan, how are you?
Good.
Great, come on up for me.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
How are you? How are you?
Good.
Good, I'm gonna
Great.
set this down for us. Hopefully this will
Yeah.
set up. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good, how was your weekend?
It was good. Speaking of giving back, we did the American Heart Walk on Saturday. So our company had 175 walkers there, and my boss chaired it this year. So that was really exciting.
Terrific, and you are with Bell?
Balfour Beatty Construction.
Terrific, and tell me what your primary focus is.
My primary focus is business acquisitions. So what that means in our construction world is project pursuits. So
Okay,
I'm out there trying to find the next construction deal for our company, and it could be a project that's right here and now or one that's 3 to 5 years out. So
okay,
it's a long, lengthy process. It takes an entire team to win those projects, but I'm out cultivating. You talk about cultivating relationships. So cultivating the necessary relationships to win those projects.
great. I see you with the mayor, I see you at business breakfasts. How does giving back to the community translate to cultivating business?
Well, it's funny that you say that because I was yesterday with the Mayor Jeff Williams from Arlington, County Commissioner Whitley, Roy Brooks, Mayor Pro Tem Dennis Shingleton, there for Mayor Price. And, you know, for Fort Worth, and you know this, but it's the backbone of Fort Worth is community service and getting out there. And I think that's the thing that attracted me to Balfour Beatty is, you know, it was our executive vice president on the stage yesterday with the CEO of THR, Barclay Bearden. You can't get any better than that. And if we're not going to get out there ourselves and give back in the community, they see that. And that's how you do business. You know, in Dallas, it seems that you've got to take clients and wine and dine, spend expensive, you know, steak dinner, wine. But here in Fort Worth, you know, people want to know that you care about what they care about. So if they have an initiative and it's Make-A-Wish Foundation and that's your client, they want to know that you're going to sponsor it and that you're going to show up and you're actually going to spend the time. And that's what says that you care. And they want to do business with people that do that.
That's great.
Yeah.
What do you love most about networking?
I love the relationships, the friendships. Think about that. I was a receptionist at Summit Tax on 5th and Summit, and you were a tenant in the building. You
Yeah,
remember that?
yeah.
And here we're standing here today. I mean,
Yeah.
how does that, you know, it's just beautiful. And I still run into the tenants from the building. Bill French, if you remember,
Sure.
was in there. I ran into Harvey Newman, which was my first boss. I was 17 years old. And, you know, I've been fortunate to have the greatest bosses ever. And, you know, Harvey saw something in me with relationships. I was doing taxes and payroll for Magic, et cetera, Derek Kennedy, Lunchbox, Bill and Jim Lane, some of the most prestigious attorneys here in Fort Worth. And he said, you know, I can't afford to pay you what you're worth. And he said, I want you to go work at a large corporation where you can just work your way, and I know you'll be hugely successful. So Harvey was the one that got my job at Union Pacific Resources, and it was the greatest time of my life. I was 20, you know, and you're at an oil and gas company, 900 employees, and I signed up on every committee you could fathom. And, you know, ironically, I was sharing with Danny before the show, that's where I met Betty LaRue. She was desk and Derrick Oil and Gas. We've been friends for over 30 years. She was my mentor, female in the oil and gas industry, which wasn't normal. Sounds familiar, right?
Yeah.
Construction, women in construction.
Absolutely.
But, you know, I can't imagine my life without some of the relationships that I've made. Betty sent me a birthday card. It's sitting on my nightstand right now. You know, that just speaks volumes to the people here in Fort Worth.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk. We were talking the other night at a networking event.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give a couple tips because we meet people at networking events, and you're a great networker. And we talked about the fact that we go to these events and people just kind of go in their own little circles.
Mm-hmm.
But the one question that everyone wants to say is, the first question is, what do you do?
Right.
Rather than what excites you, or rather than connect. How can people become better networkers?
Well, you know, it's funny that you say that because that particular event we were at was a Hispanic Chamber event, and I'm on the board. And I love our name tags because they say, you know, they have the Hispanic Chamber logo, and then it just has my name and board member. So it doesn't say you're with Balfour Beatty Construction. So that really should never be the first question. And you do see that. People kind of look at your name tag. They're trying to figure out who you're with. And it really comes across as an angle of, do I want to waste my time talking to you or not? And I think that's a huge mistake because you never know how someone's going to help you. You know, where they work or what they do might not necessarily benefit you right that second, but I think it's, you know, looking them in the eye and just being genuine. I think that's something that I pride myself on, is just being a genuine person and coming across that way and just trying to find out. I always try to find something personal, you know, about them, you know, and I think that's always been successful for me. I can't tell you how many friends I have on Facebook that are the wives of my clients. You know, they're children, not necessarily maybe my clients. So I think just trying to understand someone personally before you get to that professional level, being personable.
Yeah, it's about cultivating business because it's not necessarily if they can help you, someone they might know, and it might not be, we have a 30-year relationship, right?
Yeah.
And you were in video.
Yeah.
for many years.
Yeah, I was.
So it's funny how things kind of come full circle.
Right.
So don't assume that just because, this is that they look at your name tag,
Yeah.
then they look at you,
Right.
and then they say, what do you do? And I like questions like, what excites you? Or, what's the most exciting thing you did today? Or so, it's like Chris says, we're all reinventing ourselves.
Right.
We all have good days and we have bad days, and we're all out there just beating the pavement trying to figure it out. So.
Figure it out. And you said the one thing, help. Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll have more than enough of what you need. And that's just my philosophy. I'm always there for someone. I have the most interesting phone calls from people. You never know if it's the president of the Police Officers Association or a firefighter. And, they call and they know that I'll help them. Whatever it is that they need, how can I help you? And that's been my approach in life. And when you become that trusted advisor and people trust you and they know that if you can't help them, you know where to find the answer. And that's where it comes into I don't care where somebody works, because somebody else might need to know who they are. So I think that's been key here in Fort Worth.
Great. Thanks for being here
Yeah,
today.
thank
Great
you
to
for
see
having
you.
me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cultivate some business.
I will.
Right.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, guys. I'm going to turn this over to you. And we are on the move, having a great show. And my next guest is do you like this? My guys are telling me to move. I'm doing this. This is my new top. Hey, the next cultivator is a real reinventor. I'm coming over there to see you. You guys go that way. I'm going to follow you all on the move. And, we're all about reinvention. You want me to take that for you? Okay, you can go that way. And so I like that. We're all about cultivating, right? We're all about reinventing ourselves and figuring out how we're going to move forward, how we're going to reinvent ourselves, reinvent our brand every day. We have to do that, and that's what I'm trying to do today. And our next guest, you probably know her from Channel 5 as a traffic reporter, but she is a very savvy businesswoman who started out at Brewer High School, who went to North Texas, who worked herself up to a top 10 market, who now has a great concept that I'm really digging in called Greets, Eats, and All That. And take the top because that's sliding. And it's Tammy Dumbeck.
Hi.
How are you?
thanks
How's everything going?
Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun.
It's great.
I love it. And to be a part of Fort Worth, this is so awesome.
It is.
And as a Fort Worth girl, because I grew up on the west side and went to Brewer High School, this is so perfect for
I
me.
know. And you very
What a
much.
collaboration.
Okay, so you're doing something really cool.
Yes.
Because you're
Yes.
helping these businesses of all size
Absolutely.
cultivate business.
Absolutely.
So let's
Chris.
cut to the value proposition.
Yes.
How are you helping them bring more people in the door?
Well, as we talked on the phone, I'm never going to do a chain restaurant, right? I'm never
Right.
going to do a big corporation. I'm all about local, across the Metroplex. So I go into your businesses, whether it be a restaurant or it be a really unique business to the Metroplex. We've done shows at the Virgin Olive Oiler in downtown Sundance Square, which is this amazing store. Charles Flock, I go in, I interview the owners of these places. I interview the chefs that are actually in the kitchen, creating these new menus. So my show segments, Greets, Eats, and All That with Tammy Dombeck are so very personable, and that's what I want it to be. I want to take you into a restaurant like Lily's Bistro in
Yeah.
Magnolia, which is one of my favorite areas in Fort Worth. And I, interview the owner, Vance Martin, who is now, just as you were talking about, is a friend. I consider him a friend. And I go in the kitchen with his chef, and I just promote local, and that is what I'm all about. Is doing that. So really, and I love, like you were talking about when people say, well, what are you doing now? Because I was at NBC for 12 years and CBS for 2 years.
Wow.
And coming into this and reinventing myself, and really now doing not a dream job, but just living my dream of going into businesses and having these awesome, fun segments that are not critical. They're all upbeat. They're all about showcasing what is best about your business or your restaurant. And it's just awesome. It's awesome to get to do that.
So let's talk about this. She's a storyteller.
Yes.
Okay, so these are, and you have, it looked like about 20,000 followers on all your channels combined.
Yes.
Okay, so you're using social media.
Chris, I could not do it without social media.
Okay.
I mean, absolutely could not. You
Okay.
know, social media has been such a blessing. You know, 20 years ago when I got into television, there wasn't even Facebook. There was maybe MySpace, if you remember the MySpace
Sure.
days. And now we have Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn, as we talked about the other day. So this has really been a blessing to me to reinvent myself, to be able to still connect with the people that, you know, the fans that I had from television, and bring them over into really my world now and Tammy Dombick Productions. And I just could not do it without social media.
New channel.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's talk about this. Let's break it down.
Okay.
Basically, it's a 30-minute program.
No, so right now I come in and I do, you know, whatever you really want. We can do 30 minutes,
Okay.
but I do about 2.5, 4.5 minute segments,
Okay.
anywhere in between there.
Okay.
And then I do a social media blast for my restaurants and all of my businesses that want to be a part of Greets and Eats.
Okay.
And then I give them the link. So then they can have that link not only for their social media, but they can just take that link and put it on their website. So now just instead of having a, you know, a website where, and I love the nice websites where, but sometimes where they have, you know, the owners of the restaurants have like this paragraph, right? Nobody's going to read all that. But if you have a nice video, 2.5 minute video of the owner or maybe the chef or the owner of an amazing, you know, of business, you're going to watch that, and it's very personable, and they're talking about their business and their passion and why they maybe started their business. And so that's really what I love about what I'm doing now.
You're launching your new website?
Yes, it's not officially launched, but you can go on now, and it's just called Greets, like you greet someone, and eats.com.
Okay, great. And how can we help you cultivate business?
Oh, we're doing it right now.
Okay. And you've garnered the attention of like big time sponsors like
Yeah, you know, I'm doing right.
TM Whiskey.
Yes, TX Whiskey.
Okay.
I love my people at TX Whiskey.
Okay.
Rishi is over there, and of course Leonard, one of the owners.
Okay, great.
Who I've interviewed, and just like you said, Troy and Leonard, they're now, I feel like, you know, they're my buddies now. You
Great.
know, so with TX Whiskey, we've worked with them, and we're going to be working with them. As a matter of fact, they've got a big announcement coming up in October that I won't talk about, but I'm going to be doing another show for them for
Okay.
TX Whiskey, and I've also worked with Lone Star Park, and we just did a nice show for Flight on Eagle Mountain Lake.
Great.
So I do anything from, you know, Lone Star Park to a TX Whiskey to, you know, a Lily's Bistro on Magnolia Street or Cat City Grill.
Okay.
So I do it all.
Okay. So it's not about food, it's really about telling the stories of these
Absolutely.
proprietors.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And going in.
Yes. So we, you know, originally when we started this, Chris, we said, let's just do a foodie show, right?
Okay.
And then I said, no, I don't just want to do foodie shows. You know, I want to do everything that is unique to Fort Worth. So that's how we started Greets, Eats, and all that with Tammy Dombeck.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing you. and
Oh,
we'll
this is
see
going to be a long partnership, Chris. You're
Facebook.
not getting rid of me.
Facebook, Twitter,
Yes.
Instagram.
Instagram, I'm on it all. LinkedIn, yes, Tammy Dombeck.
Great. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so
We look
much for
forward to
having
seeing you
me.
again.
Thanks, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most played song by Danny Wright, his most revenue generated song in the history of the world, of his career. Without further ado, Danny Wright and Baxter will take it out. Thank you all for being here. My Miracle. write that?
Oh gosh, I wrote that in 1992. Grab that mic, will you? A long time ago.
And what, okay, when did you write that again?
1992.
And what inspired that?
Do you know, actually, I've told this story so many times, but that whole song came to me in a dream one night. The whole song. I went downstairs to where my piano was, and it was written in like 10 minutes, the whole song.
Fantastic.
It was just the whole melody, the bridge, everything came to me.
Great.
And then people started hearing it, and then it was used in Nagano at the Olympics.
Oh my God.
A German couple skated and won the bronze medal.
Great. Everybody come on in. Thank you for being on this edition of, what's up, Tammy? Inside Fort Worth Business. And we will see you live on YouTube at CQ Digital Media. Thank everyone and have a great week.
Thank you. Have a great week.